We should have done a fantasy draft.
We really should have done a fantasy draft.
Next year.
He was kind of...
Whenever that... I mean, I don't know. Something could happen.
Next year!
Guys, a year from now, if something happens to the Pope, I'm not involved.
Sam.
If I did it, if they were a bad person, if the Pope becomes a shithead, maybe.
Hey. Who's that girl sitting across from me, and where did Sam go?
She's dead. She can't come to the phone right now because she's dead.
Because she slayed so hard. She's now 6 feet under.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just would like to dispel the rumors.
Okay.
I did not dye my hair so that I would get any kind of pass or any invitation to any cookouts. I did not know about the discourse on TikTok. Now, you may be asking me,
what are you talking about?
Well,
excuse me.
This is the Let Me Know podcast, and I'm going to do just that.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode. I'm Caroline.
I'm Sam.
And something's going on here that I don't understand.
No, she doesn't understand.
I don't know what it is, but I'm about to find out.
You're not a TikTok user.
No.
Which is crazy.
I know, we've been over this before.
Are you resisting? Or are you like, it's easy?
It's never been a thing that's been hard to resist. I don't know.
Are you a Reels user?
No.
Really?
No, I don't watch short content.
Huh.
Which is probably not good.
No,
I'm
it's
a
good.
Content creator, but
no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I am like the least content creator. I look around all the time and I go, what am I doing here?
She goes outside. You did go outside for a run.
Also, and then I my allergies are going crazy. I've been sneezing nonstop after going outside. My thighs hurt. Can't stop sneezing. So when they say touch grass,
heartburn, nausea, indigestion,
they're trying to kill you.
Upset stomach, diarrhea. I will actually, we should put this picture up on the podcast. You texted me the other day and you were like, I'm going to go for a run. And I was like, oh, okay. And you were like, I may not come back. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
And then you do this thing. This is cute. It's a nice thing. I always talk about it, but it's funny. Whenever you're doing something,
yes,
you send me a photo of you doing it.
Yes.
So like fixing your car.
I am a 50-year-old mom.
You're like, hey, having some car troubles. And then you were like, going for a run. So you sent me a photo and you were like, hey, dying.
Because I think a picture tells 1,000 words.
They do say that. But what you could say is going for a run, dying. And I would be like, I know exactly what she looks like.
No, see, it's show, don't tell. That's what we learn. That's what we learn in the film biz is you show, you don't tell.
Thank you.
So a picture will show you everything rather than me explaining it to you.
Thank you. Thank you for this. So there's a discourse on TikTok. I dyed my hair red for any audio listeners. It looks
great.
I like it.
It looks beautiful.
It's more flattering on
I love it.
There's something that happened to millennials where we were told somehow that we needed to tone all of the warmth out of our hair.
Yeah.
You see a lot of like toned blondes. And it doesn't look good on me because I have like a peachy, warm skin tone. Okay. So if I have blondish or if I do like a cool brown, I look like I have the coolest hair tone. Nobody's got a cooler hair tone than me.
It's like just some Tumblr 2011 shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I went reddish. I like it. It looks good.
It looks very good.
I like it. It's gonna wash out. I've showered, and it just looked like massacre.
Well, is it also because you did an hour long shower? Maybe? Yeah.
With like hot water, just like roasting the.
I think I did my shortest shower today. It was literally 12 seconds.
That's crazy.
Okay,
I think that's the most controversial thing we've talked about on the podcast. The comments were like, what the app? So for reference, if you didn't watch the episode, Caroline is like a 5-minute shower person.
Yes, if I have to wash my hair.
Yeah, and I like sit down.
Well, also, I've been having issues with my hot water, so I've been taking shorter and shorter showers.
Oh, so you're using like camp. You ever go camping and you have like the camp showers that are like.
Yeah, well, I was just talking about Holes the other day. It's like in Holes where they get their freezing cold showers and they only get like 20 seconds.
You have to carry Will up a hill before you get a hot shower.
Dig it up all
It's like, Caroline, stop it. Stop carrying me up these hills.
A-R-M-P to the T.
Is that part of the
What
movie?
is that? You smell it, dog? You don't remember the song?
No. I thought it was like,
God.
Whenever the woodpecker cries, the bark on the tree was
a little bit softer. Something like that. No, that's like the poem thing that you sing when
digging up them holes.
But the song, dig it up, they say it they do it at the end of the movie. You know. Check out.
I need to rewatch that.
The name's Caveman. There is no rate. There is no shade. There is no place to hide. So just sit and wait to fry. You've got to go.
I missed that whole part. You know, what's the actress that plays Kissin' Kate? She's in Severance.
Hold on.
I'm not gonna know.
Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
I thought you were gonna.
No,
get
I
it.
didn't know. So I could have been here forever. It's like, shut up. I think she looks her absolute best in Holes.
Oh, she's such a hottie. Kissing Kate Barlow.
Yeah, she is the best. I don't know why we went down that rabbit hole.
Okay, so
are we done with that one?
We're done with that one. Okay.
Okay, so there is a discourse on TikTok. I have a couple of the TikToks because I'm going to show you because I can't. If I try to explain it, it's just going to sound like I'm trying to get the pass, which I'm not. And to be clear, you still can't have the pass. I'm going to show you this video.
Yes.
I'm going to show you this video. So there is a discourse on TikTok where I don't know if this one woman said it and everybody's agreeing or if multiple people are saying it. They're saying that redheads are the black people of white people.
Was this a white person who said it?
No.
Or was this a black person who said it? Okay.
It's black community saying this. Okay. I want you to watch this video.
Okay.
I just need to remind y'all again, everyone who is ginger, who has red hair, those are black people. All gingers are black people. If they have red hair, they are black. You see a white man with red hair, that's a black man. You see a white woman with red hair, that's a black woman. Gingers are black. All gingers.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
I can't have Will Neff know this because he is now going to pull the I'm more oppressed than you are card, which he already tries to with him being a ginger.
Yeah, you're toast.
Even though he's kind of like not. He is ginger.
Well, you're Irish. And when we go into this, part of it has to do with Irish people. So so you might be able to kind of,
that's half me.
Right. So here is a video where somebody is kind of explaining what they mean, and then there's another video that explains it more.
Okay.
I've been wanting to hop in on this. Gingers are the black people of white people because I've been saying this. I had a mentor in college. His name was Paul S. His last name is Polish. I'm not going to tell you his last name, so I'm going to put S. But he's my mentor. We still text to this day. But I told him, I was like, Paul, because I just got here. I'm fresh out the hood. I'm fresh out like a really diverse city. Like, I'm like, Paul, I see a lot of gingers and they're real aggressive. They real like, about they shit. Like you can't really push over on them or nothing. And I just know that from watching. And when I told my mentor, Paul was like, bro, they're literally the black people of white people for real. Like they don't take no shit. And like, I don't know. Now
Paul's
that
just
the whole
like,
ginger conversation that they
sure.
are, black people, and like they're really like tying back to the historical aspect of it, which is so funny because my great grandpa, I keep saying this shit, is Irish. Like he was on that plantation with my great grandma. Like my great grandma. Like they was out here.
Right. So there's another video. So that,
okay.
So now we're opening up into the explanation of kind of where people are coming from here.
Okay.
And this is another video that kind of explains a little bit more in detail the parallels that people are drawing here.
Okay, with the historical analysis.
Right.
So I've been seeing the discourse that redheads are the black people of white people, and I do believe that I have pieces of evidence that should be submitted to the pot. Number one, in the same way certain types of white people have to let you know that they have black friends, that they've interacted with a black person before, they do the same thing with redheads. They have to tell me that their cousin three.
I have a friend that's a redhead. So
I actually do this with Will all the time. I talk about the fact that he is
and then
ginger.
you're like, oh yeah, well my boyfriend is a redhead, so like I get it, like I understand.
I know.
Times removed was a redhead. There was someone in their family that was a redhead. They knew a redhead. They had a redhead friend. I knew a redhead once that I hated, but you changed my entire opinion on all redheads. That kind of dialogue, Fascinating. Number 2, in the same way white people will reach out and touch your hair without asking for permission, they do the same thing with redheads. They think our hair is going to feel like spun gold, possibly. I don't know. But they love to stick their oily little talons all around it. Number 3, we're fetishized the same.
Yeah, people have been doing that just the last 24 hours.
Well, obviously I want this to finish, but I wonder what the thoughts on like fake red hair. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, for sure. I want to clarify.
Is this a Rachel Dolezal situation? But like for redheads. Rachel Dolezal, the white woman who pretended she was black, where she would like... Oh my God.
Wait, hold on.
You about to... Okay,
I'm about to learn.
Okay.
Isn't that so fun? My best friend's a black woman and she's in the dating pool and she tells me all the time how white men are like, oh, I've never been with a black girl before. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. I've gotten that quite a bit from those folk. It's like they view us as some item to check off a bucket list, like an experience very few get to have. Like, it's weird. Number 4, and this may not be as relevant, but I do feel like the media views us as interchangeable. Like, if they see a role that's traditionally reserved for a redhead, they're like, you know who would look really good in that? A light-skinned black woman. Annie, Little Mermaid. I don't mind. I love it. Okay.
That one I feel like it just maybe had happened to happen it's a couple times.
Yes. Do people confuse Julianne Moore, Susan Sarandon, Amy Adams, Jessica Chastain because they have red hair?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
But I am just saying it's very interesting to me that the media constantly chooses black women to take a redhead role and like how they view us.
Yeah, that one, when she says constantly, I can probably think of like a couple times, but I also
she's saying
don't.
Is how
she's saying that redheads in media are constantly replaced by black women, and I like
how many times does this happen?
Well, that's the thing is I'm like that one I can Annie, Little Mermaid, which is the 2 she named. But then I was like,
I love doing that though, where you're trying to make something. You're like listing a couple examples, but trying to make the point that it's actually widespread. But you just stop with the 2.
Yeah, you're like Annie, Little Mermaid.
This is the thing. For example, Annie
and so
and
many
Mermaid.
other ones. I just can't. I don't have any more fingers. Like I just.
It's happening all the time. It's very widespread.
Yeah, that one. I don't know if I can get behind that one, but pop off.
Oh, number 5. Aren't you guys tired of people being surprised that you're nice?
That one also. I don't think I've ever like. I don't think of any people with red hair. I don't know. Like,
there are some stereotypes here of redheads that I'm not aware
unfamiliar with.
I know the whole like they have no souls.
Yeah. Yeah, which maybe
gingers
it's like,
have no souls.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing that little ginger kids would be told on the playground.
Yeah, that they have no souls.
I don't even understand that. Where
there was a YouTube video. It's an old YouTube video.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know someone showed me it on stream.
So there was another video that I didn't save, but it was funny. It was this guy, and he was a redheaded guy, and he was pitching why he would like to come to the cookout, and he had all these spices, and then he was like, "Listen, contrary to popular belief, I do think that I have my way with soul food." So it was a good video. But anyways, this is the discourse. Okay. I dyed my hair red. It's not. My hair is not naturally red. So obviously this is jest,
I'm also just gonna assume that we're in jest here when we're talking about.
I would hope
when we're.
Like, I feel like the
I got more of a joking sense from the 2 black TikTokers who were like,
yeah,
redheads, gingers.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that they're saying this in jest is like, oh, like this is a thing, and then we're gonna have like white people that are like, yeah,
like actually, yes,
you know
this
what?
is
I
true.
can say it.
Yeah, where they fetishize you, being black, and they also fetishize us. I'm like. There are some really important differences, though.
Yeah,
that we need to point out here.
Yeah, which this video in particular, I was like, just because we're drawing parallels doesn't mean it's parallel.
I think we've been doing goofs.
I think
we're doing goofs.
I fear.
Okay, I have to show you really quickly. I cannot believe you are not acquainted with the Rachel Dolezal, who this was, let's see, I would say mid-2000s, a little bit after that, when the controversy happened.
I'm ready.
Where Rachel Dolezal is a white lady who pretended she was Black, and she was working as she was the instructor in Africana Studies at Eastern Washington University.
Oh, she does look familiar. She does look familiar.
This is was a huge moment in culture, and she's used her name is like a meme now.
Okay, so start from the beginning. Tell me who Rachel Dolezal is.
Okay, so
give me the TLDR, but plus
Rachel Dolezal became a global hate faker as it was revealed that she was faking her race.
Wow.
She was pretending to be Black. She had used her Blackness.
Definitively saying, I am Black.
Yes. Okay. And she would do her hair in
I see the curls.
You can see the curls.
Yes.
She would put darker makeup on.
Oh, wow. Here's a photo of her curly hair.
Oh.
She looks like she's like Mormon, like straight up.
Mormon as fuck looking.
And then, wow.
Yeah. And then here,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huh. So this was a thing I remember broke 10 years ago.
Do people think that old photos of them just
disappear?
Disappear?
I don't know. She was also she was the former National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. Wow. She was the president. She was a chapter president.
No.
Yes. She was born to white parents, but spent years presenting herself as a Black woman and used that as a way to gain employment opportunities, to work her way up, and be the chapter president of the NAACP. I mean, it was crazy, okay? So whenever now, it's part of it is part of our lexicon now that Rachel Dolezal has become... It's an adjective, it's an adverb, it's a noun. So if someone's pretending to be a different race, and it's usually, of course, a white person who's pretending to, you go, she's Rachel Dolezaling.
Whoa.
Yeah. We got another Rachel Dolezal. We got another Rachel Dolezal.
No.
So she, her parents publicly stated that she was pretending to be Black.
No, her parents even?
Yes. Her parents were the ones who outed her because what had happened was that she had gone to the police and the news and said that she was a victim of race-related hate crimes.
She's like, well, I hated it.
And she's like, I was attacked because I'm a Black woman. Huh. Yeah. And she was filing fake claims. And of course, police investigated. No evidence to be found because she's not the victim of race crimes. And the funny thing is, too, is that a lot of people, I think, didn't think she was Black, but just went, oh, yeah, well, she said she's Black, so I guess, I don't want to.
Maybe passing.
But it's not she passed as a Black woman.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
So
I had never heard about this.
So the controversy happens. She also, she lied about so much shit. I would have to go back into history.
Right.
And
she's got
go back in time
baggage.
and dig everything up. But I just remember there was so much crazy shit she lied about. She said that this African-American man was her father and that her brother was her son.
Oh, she made up family trees.
She was making up family trees.
So her actual parents who were like, yeah, she's not Black.
She
and
didn't say they were her parents. I can't remember what the relationship with her parents was. But they publicly came forward and said, hi, we're white people and Rachel's our daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so this fueled a national debate. And I remember because it was... So this would have been after I graduated college. I was working in politics in Chicago. It was all that anybody was talking about.
Sure.
And it was a debate around, racial identity, around cultural appropriation. And she became this laughingstock, this massive joke. And then she released a memoir.
Oh, did she?
In 2017, she released a memoir on her racial identity called...
No. I don't. Sorry.
In Full Color. Nope. Finding my place in a black and white world.
She's finding my place.
One thing I will say about Rachel Dolezal, she does not quit.
Is there a place for me? Can I have a seat at the table? Can I sit down?
What if I say that I am? Does it count?
Promise.
Yeah.
Wow.
So crazy shit. She's still around.
I was gonna say, she
pops up from time to time. So as I said, she is she is someone who became she was at the center of a media firestorm. Everybody was laughing at the insanity of this woman. Wow. She became a meme. Her name became a way to describe really kind of anyone doing fraud, right? Doing race fraud, but also kind of just fraud.
Right.
You know, it became synonymous with that.
What a time.
And now she's tried to, of course, because she's a grifter, you know,
what if
she's a scammer.
Different race. Like, what if she's like,
She's like, you know, I think Asian's really in. I've been listening to a lot of K-pop.
She's like, yeah, I think I'll pick that one. I think that spins a wheel.
Yeah. She just spins a wheel about race.
She's like, yeah, I can do that.
But the thing about these people is that they never go away, right? Because now we live in an age where you can get caught as a scammer, as a schemer, and you can just try and spin that into your next thing.
You do kind of get rewarded.
You do kind of get rewarded. Yeah. Like, you will go on TikTok and make content and open up about how
it's
you
like
pretended to be a black person.
Do you know Ash Trevino? Oh, buddy, we got to talk about Ash Trevino
one time. Why does that name sound familiar?
We could do a whole deep dive on her at some point, maybe for the Patreon.
Okay.
Guys, Patreon episode, I will be telling Caroline all about Ash Trevino.
Wait, that's so funny because I just Googled her and I see Ash Trevino responds to Stephanie Soo, who we were also going to bring up because I wanted to get your take.
Yes, we should talk about that. So Ash Trevino she's a TikToker. She's a live stream TikToker. I'm going to make this as short as possible and then we'll talk about it on the Patreon. She's a live stream TikToker. I imagine I don't know this. I think she's probably in her like 40s. And she is known for chronically dating and sometimes marrying men in prison.
I'm sorry.
Yep. They have like a nickname for her. I can't remember what they call her, but she live streams everything. She's like gotten in fights on live streams. She like has vibrators in the background that her kids are like, oh, name this one. Can it be named after me? Like the fucking weirdest shit ever. She's basically just like publicly a terrible mom and will get into arguments on the phone with her like current boyfriend who's in prison. And it goes so deep. Rotten Mango actually did a video on her, which is probably why she probably clapped back to the video.
Okay.
Right. So we'll go over that on the Patreon. We'll deep dive into that. Okay. If you're wondering why a water bottle just appeared next to me, it's actually, can we do a really cool edit?
Akio.
Scrando, ready? This will be fun. Ready? Man, I wish I had a bottle of water right now. Oh my gosh, a bottle of water.
Whoa.
Wow.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Thanks, editor. Appreciate it. Thanks. Wow.
Mine eyes have seen some black magic.
Wow.
It's the devil.
It's the devil.
Satan. Burn her.
No.
Why? I'm too sexy.
So, okay. We were talking about this earlier and I told you to shut up because I wanted to hear about this. So there's a YouTuber, Stephanie Soo, Rotten Mango, who I've listened to a ton and I really like, but I popped into your stream and you were talking about something and I was like, I will ask her about this later. She is talking about, she's been going to the Diddy trials. Yes. And something about that's a little unsavory.
Yes. And when I didn't know she was. I did a little like, who is this person? I just saw stuff pop up that was mukbang true crime stuff, which is going to gross me the fuck out, of course. Yeah. And I already have a lot of thoughts around the sensationalizing of true crime, be it the Sean Combs trial or a serial killer who murdered 10 beautiful angels in the 90s.
But then they go, and speaking of murdering, would you like to slash those prices to 50% with our sponsor?
Yes, and there is we've talked before about how true crime, with the proliferation of it, a lot of people are not exercising the sensitivity and the care that is required. That, it's been so normalized to just immediately jump in on a case that hasn't come to a conclusion
or
yet.
Sucking
the
it
TikTok
all its
armchair
worth and
detectives.
dipping.
Yes, and it's like, what is the goal here besides providing an entertaining content? And that's not all true crime creators, be they podcasters, YouTubers, TikTokers, whatever, are equal. They're not all equally bad. But anyway, so this was like my brief understanding of Stephanie, but I was more so basing it off of my perception of this TikTok video. And I bring this up, and people in my chat, and then my editor just put together a video of it, put it on Instagram, and I see people already in my comments that are like saying I'm wrong. And I'm like, I need people to separate though. Okay, a couple things here. I don't care if maybe Stephanie does all this other great work elsewhere. The perception from these TikTok videos, how it is coming across, is not good. And I think that it is, I have a lot of thoughts around her twirling and eating her PB&J sandwich and being like giddy and cheery. And I guess that's her personality, but maybe we shouldn't be doing that when we're talking about the Sean Combs trial. When this is like these are very serious charges. This is one of the worst monsters who operated in the entertainment industry, specifically in the world of music. Okay, so let me just back it up a bit. Explain that the Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy trial, is underway. So for the last week, they were doing jury selection, and then today they wrapped up. They went right into opening statements, and the first witnesses who are being called for the prosecution, they are going into their testimony. And we already know the angle that the defense is going to be taking. They are presenting Sean Combs as, yes, he was an abuser. He did engage in domestic violence. It was mutual abuse. We're not saying he's perfect. However, the crimes that he has been charged with, that of racketeering, of sex trafficking, of engaging in illegal forced prostitution for decades, these are all serious charges that if he is convicted, he will face life in prison. So anywho, it's just starting. The trial is expected to last 8 weeks, I believe. When content creators get involved in covering very serious legal matters, okay, true crime cases, I hate that the true crime label is so broad now. Yeah. Right? So whether you are covering a serial killer from the 1800s or you're covering the Diddy case, I also feel that I have PTSD from the way that the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case became this massive source of content. It was treated as a spectacle. The way that so many YouTubers and TikTokers and Twitch streamers,
it was a React content Super Bowl.
It was, and just the consequences that has had. Just even Diddy's team trying to go with the mutual abuse element. I mean, anyway, so I felt crazy because people were kind of coming at me, and I went, I'm not.
No, I agree. And like I said, as somebody who's watched a lot of her content, I still don't like it.
And I try to be like, look, okay, fine. I'll be fair and say, I don't know her. I just saw the mukbang true crime thing, which I thought was gross. Apparently she's moved on past that, which is good. People were like, well, she actually puts a lot of research into herself. I'm like, okay, great. I do think the bar is in fucking hell, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also wonder if maybe we should be evaluating if it's good or not good that this is so normalized now that we have content creators who are presenting themselves as journalists covering really massive cases that have potentially the could potentially have very serious consequences on other cases of this nature.
Yeah, and I think it's also really fair with content creators, which is something that we have to keep doing, is it's okay to criticize each thing that they do as its own unit. So it's like this was not good. I've watched 2-hour-long YouTube videos of hers that I never for a second was like, that felt a little bit icky. So it's like each thing that she does, like she's clearly she's made probably 5 or 6 2-hour-long YouTube videos on the P. Diddy trials. So it's like she is really fucking excited to be there. And we don't need you to be as excited on TikTok because it feels weird.
Yeah, and also excited in the way where when she was expressing like seeing him and it felt like fangirling almost.
Like, just don't say that.
Yeah.
Just don't say that.
I also, for people who are like, well, then how else am I going to find out?
Well, let me tell you.
Well, let me tell you something about journalism, okay? And there is a woman named Cheyenne Roundtree who writes for Rolling Stone, who has been an amazing source of information with all things related to Sean Combs, and I've covered a lot of her reporting on stream. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you if your understanding, if your idea of where I can get news begins and ends with your favorite true crime TikToker.
Yeah. It's the most entertaining source of news doesn't mean it's the most true. So it's like when you have somebody who makes true crime TikToks just because they're really entertaining doesn't mean that they're factual. They're just the most entertaining.
Yeah. And I just want to say too, if I were ever doing something that for the topics that I cover, which sometimes are very serious and I believe require a sensitivity and a care when discussing them, even though I am a Twitch streamer, especially because I am a Twitch streamer, if I were to be talking about something in a callous way, in a way that was really inappropriate, then I think people should call me out on that.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think that fans of mine should rush to my defense acting as if I am incapable of any type of criticism.
My unproblematic content creator.
Yeah.
It's a fair balance, and I think that the audience is flawed in this. I think the creators are flawed in this, where it's like your favorite content creator sometimes will do a goof and you can tell them they do a goof and you don't need to cancel them. And that's their job to be like, oh, okay, oopsies or whatever. But then also at the same time, like, you can't be like, my content creator will do no wrong. My content creator cannot possibly, unproblematic queen. And it's like, that's almost like more of a disservice to your content creator too, because then you create this like unbreakable, like aura that they just are like, they start to think that they're untouchable. So
anywho, those are my thoughts on that. So,
speaking of big news.
Yes.
I'm
Pope.
You are? Congrats. Sweet. I was worried that they would pick me, but they didn't, turns out.
Oh.
No.
Why would you be worried?
I don't know. I was afraid. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want the responsibility.
Okay.
I didn't think I would look good in the outfit.
Honestly, the outfits are slay though.
Yeah. It's funny. So I watched Conclave.
Yes.
Which I liked.
Finally.
I watched the first half of it, fell asleep, went back and watched the whole thing, which is important that I did because I got one of the main characters mixed up with another main character, which changed the entire...
You confused old white cardinals?
With other old white
cardinals?
Great movie. I watched it because I wanted to know what the process of a conclave was.
Well, you also want to know why everyone was so obsessed.
Yeah.
Right. Because the reason that so many people on the internet tuned in to Pope Watch, right? Smoke Watch, is because of the film Conclave.
Yeah. They predicted that they would pick another pope.
One person in particular, well, two people actually, are the people who created the account PopeCrave. PopeCrave. So obviously it is a play on PopeCrave, if you follow PopeCrave at all.
Right.
PopeCrave is an account that started 5 months ago, and it is these two women. One of them, her name is Susan Bin. She studied art history at Harvard. And the other is Noelia Caballero, who's actually a lawyer, I think an immigration lawyer. Yeah, who works in queer Catholic ministry. So these are not two people who are obsessed with the Pope because they're obsessed with the Catholic Church per se.
Right. They're not devout.
But they are they created this account, and Susan Bin in particular said she became obsessed after watching Conclave.
Yeah.
Where she's like, the way she described it, I read an interview. She said, "You watched it and loved it, and I watched it, and it was
changed me.
It was insane how obsessed I was with it." So,
people are kind of treating the Cardinals like their favorite K-pop group.
Yeah, no, people will stan anyone.
Yep, they will. They will.
Stan
They're
anyone
looking for someone to
and
stan.
anything. Mm-hmm. And Cardinal Tagle, who's the cardinal from the Philippines, he kind of became a main character in the conclave. A lot of people online were standing him. But the Pope, or the cardinal who ended up becoming Pope, was Cardinal Robert Prevost, who a lot of people went, huh? Like people who had been tuning into Pope Watch.
Right.
Because he was kind of a dark horse in that...
We should have done a fantasy draft.
We really should have done a fantasy draft.
Next year.
He was kind of...
Whenever that... I mean, I don't know. Something could happen.
Next year. You never know what will happen.
Guys, a year from now, if something happens to the Pope, I'm not involved.
Sam did it.
I'm not going to pull a J shot.
Sam did it.
I didn't. I might have.
Yeah, you did.
Who knows? If I did it, if they were a bad person, if the Pope becomes a shithead, maybe. But if he's a good guy, nah.
I mean, all signs are pointing to him being decent, hopefully following in the footsteps of Francis, who was progressive for the church.
Sure.
I think it's very important to keep in mind the context of being progressive within the Catholic Church.
Sure.
Okay, we're not talking...
The bar's low.
Yeah. So he has already signaled that he is going to be pretty decent. In that the name he chose was Leo, and popes will pick names. It's more of a modern thing, but they'll pick names of previous popes who their vision and their guiding the Catholic Church will be similar to the pope that they chose.
Yeah. It's like kickball.
Yeah.
So it's like jersey colors, basically.
So he chose Pope Leo, and then he also has already called for a ceasefire in Gaza, which was something that Francis had been, he'd been very adamant about. And he just came out, and I think...
Oh, congrats. Gay Pope.
Yay! Oh my God, it's so exciting. We had the first gay Pope.
Chicago gay Pope.
Yeah, we got a gay slay Pope. No, he was like, there was something that was like cautionary about AI, about how AI is threatening human dignity and life, etc. So people were like, yeah.
Okay, got it.
The Pope. So anyway, this guy, Robert Prevost, aka Pope Leo the 14th, he's kind of all over the place as far as where he's from, countries and cities and states that are kind of claiming him as their own. So those of us from Chicago are like, we have a Chicago Pope.
He's going to put a bean in the Vatican. Can you imagine?
He's going to put a Portillo's.
Yeah,
Portillo's beef. Yeah. But then he went to Villanova in Philly. So I guess Philly's also like, he's our Pope. Then he spent a lot of time in Peru. So people, Peruvians are like, no, we finally have a Peruvian Pope.
Oh.
Like they refer to him as a Peruvian Pope.
I hope he's not from Philly, because if he dies, they're going to burn that city to the ground.
Well, it's PopeCrave needs.
If it happens the same year as the Super Bowl,
can you imagine?
So
anyway, he kind of came in as a dark horse, and apparently it's because he was quite popular with the Cardinals on the North American and the South American Cardinals. They were like, yeah, we kind of like this guy. And they made the decision after, I think it was 3 days. So the first day.
Yeah, did they release the receipts afterwards?
So, okay. Cardinals will talk, but they have to be but they have to be careful because if they say too much, if they give away information that will reveal like the secrets.
Yeah, right.
Secrets of the Vatican.
They'll be kicked out.
They will be excommunicated.
No.
Yes. So the reason I think a lot of people...
We need a gossip girl pope.
No, seriously. Well, PopeCrave, what was crazy, they were the first to break the news that a new pope had been chosen. They broke the news before the mainstream media, before the fucking Vatican news outlet.
How did they know?
Because,
there's a mole.
Well, I'm going to be talking to PopeCrave on the stream hopefully soon, but I guess they had insiders.
So I saw in Conclave, somebody mentioned this, and when they mentioned this, I was like, maybe that's how... They have like lasers they can shoot at windows, and it reads the frequencies of like sounds going inside so they can hear what they're saying.
They also have insiders who are like working on behalf
nuns,
of people.
007 nun.
Yeah, people in the papacy where they're giving little bits of tea. So PopeCrave sent their correspondent out, and they were like, we need boots on the ground at the Vatican.
Yeah.
They had procured insiders, Vatican insiders, who told them that a new pope had been chosen. Now, they ended up getting it wrong.
Oh.
they announced the wrong pope, but it was a big deal because here's this, this Twitter account that started in the last 5 months. That's like a meme posting Twitter account that was started by one person who's obsessed with the movie Conclave that broke the news minutes before the mainstream media and the Vatican, like the main Vatican publication did. And that's a big deal. I think it's the new pope.
I think it's his
You
account.
think it was him?
I don't know.
You think he's the insider?
That would be the best option, I think, plot-wise.
So anyway, from my understanding, if you want some tea on how things went down, is the first day, so the first day, things had dragged on, and the popes were hangry. There was already some, some rumblings, etc.
They don't have snacks?
They didn't have snacks, no. So they're sequestered without their phones.
Right.
They had they decided to do a vote that first night. Even though things had dragged on with like people giving speeches, et cetera. And I guess Robert Prevost gave a speech, wasn't really a standout speech. And it was later when he was having his little side meetings, like in the conclave.
He was working the room.
That was when people went, I really like this guy. So they decided to still have a vote that first night, even though like everyone was really hungry and tired and just were not feeling it. But that vote was really important because it was an inconclusive tally, so no white smoke. However, it left them with three main contenders. Like it was pretty clear these are three guys, and Prevost was one of them. And everyone was kind of like,
underdog.
Who is he?
Who is this diva?
Knew him, but they also didn't know him. So the ones who had more name recognition and who, when people online were doing like their pope brackets and whatnot, Prevost was like not in the internet's considerations.
Not on the bracket.
But it was Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who was he's Italian Pope. He ran the Vatican under Pope Francis. So a lot of people were like, he's a strong contender. He was the guy running the Vatican. That is the Rafe Fiennes character most of all.
Right. Lawrence.
And then there was Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary. He was the conservative one. So he had a coalition of conservatives who did not like Francis. They did not like how progressive he was. And
that's like what's the douchebag guy?
The vape smoking
one. The vape guy. There's
Yes.
a scene in Conclave where they have this kind of outburst in the lunchroom. There's a lot of drama happening. And this guy, who's kind of the douchebag, he just fucking rips the Benjamin.
Yes.
And it's awesome.
A vape smoking cardinal.
It's awesome.
So that is who this guy would be. And then the last one was Robert Francis Prevost, who was a quiet American dark horse and had been the surprise name in that evening's vote. And a lot of people were like, okay. So then, they end because the vote is inconclusive.
And they're hungry.
They're hungry.
Right.
And then they start doing their little, the little side meetings.
Love the gist.
I know. I know. And they talk shit too.
I bet they do.
They talk
drama. People underestimate the power of just like slipping somebody just like a nice note. Maybe like some little like a candy. I don't know.
Yeah, and apparently Prevost had gone up to Cardinal Tagle, who was the Filipino Pope that a lot of people on the internet loved, and he asked him he had asked him how the conclave works, because he's only been a cardinal for 2 years. He didn't have the name recognition that is considered necessary to emerge as a really strong contender in an election where there are a lot of new cardinals. And so he didn't have a super high profile. He didn't come in with a very clear base of support. But once the cards kind of started to learn who this guy was, they're like, wait a sec, he's kind of perfect.
Can I just say that's extra surprising because he's American? Like
right, but I know he spent a lot of time in Peru, and he's actually spent more time abroad than in America. A lot of the South American and Latin American cardinals were like, they really liked him.
Maybe that was it. Maybe he was like the American guy, so we could talk to the Americans.
He was
a Chicago guy.
Chicago, Philly, Peru. So he very quickly a coalition came together of North America, Latin America, and South America.
I see.
Yes.
I understand now.
And the cardinal from Venezuela said, he's one of us.
Oh, he's in.
He's in. He's part of the team.
I get it now.
And he engaged.
He worked
the room. And so by the third day, apparently he, according to some of the cardinals who have been, dishing what they can, I guess it was not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
So in order to win, I was trying to figure it out during the movie and I just couldn't quite pick up on it. What is how do you have to get 2/3 of the votes?
You have to get 2/3 of the vote, I believe.
To be elected Pope, a cardinal elector must secure 2/3 majority of the votes from the College of Cardinals. That's a lot. That's a crazy poll, actually. You have 2/3 of a room to vote for you.
But they hadn't even finished counting the votes, and he already reached them.
Wow.
Yeah, and I guess he was so shocked, and the room exploded in a standing ovation.
Really?
All the cardinals were like,
"That's my boy.
That's my boy," and he was still sitting down, and they had to pull him up, and
he was shocked.
Everyone was crying.
Oh,
everyone was crying.
Oh,
well. Not everyone, because I'm sure, there's obviously the cardinals who are like, God damn it, I wanted to bring the church back to the dark ages. This is such a funny line that I read in this New York Times article. Cardinal Tagle, the popular Filipino Pope, he said he was sitting next to Cardinal Prevost, noticed him taking deep breaths as the votes amassed in his favor. And I asked him, do you want a candy? And he said, yes.
Oh,
and so he
nice. I hope he saved the wrapper. Can you imagine? That'd be so cute.
I know. Also, sell that shit on eBay.
Yeah.
To
me. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Why not? That's crazy. I wonder what kind of candy it was. I don't know.
I know. Maybe I imagine it was like, one of those strawberry or the
dude, the strawberry, the old lady ones.
Yes,
I love those. And also like the I don't even know, the butterscotch ones with the clear wrappers. The best. Yes. Old lady candy.
Old ladies know what's up.
They know what's up.
They know their candy.
Yeah, they sucking on that good. Nope, cut that out.
The old ladies sucking on that good shit.
Happy Mother's Day yesterday. The MILFs and the GILFs.
Mm-hmm.
I have personally been obsessed with all of the interviews of his brothers.
Oh, yeah.
because
you mean regular dudes?
The regular
just a couple
dudes,
of bros.
That's the thing is he's the Pope. Like imagine you're just a guy that lives in Chicago. I don't even know what his brothers' names are. Probably like is it like Bob?
It's probably he's Bob. It's probably John.
John. I don't know. And you're just like 2 truths and a lie. I don't know. Maybe you're out like hanging out with your buddies. 2 truths and a lie. My brother is the Pope. You know what I mean? Like your brother is just the Pope. Yeah, there's been some great interviews. One of the interviews was his brother. He used to give him shit when they were younger and saying like, "Oh, you're gonna be the Pope one day." Like, "Oh, you're so holy. Like, you're so holy. You're gonna become the Pope one day." The other brother was saying that they were texting a couple days before, and he asked him if he had ever watched Conclave, and he said yes.
Yeah.
So he had seen Conclave. And so there, I think at least one of his brothers are there. They flew to the Vatican and, they had pizza.
Yeah.
Like a couple days after he was elected, just pizza party with my brother, the Pope. That's
what
crazy.
A weird thing to be like, oh yeah, you know, Johnny, he's got his business. Grandkids everyone's good.
Yeah, the kids are going to college.
Kids are going to college. They're growing up.
John's been working on his boat. I think he's like fixing the boat.
You know, he just got divorced and it's been a little hard, but he bought a boat. We're not quite sure what's going to happen with that. And then Bobby, he's the Pope.
You're like, what?
Oh, gee.
The Pope of what?
Oh, God, Bobby's the Pope.
Oh, like the Pope?
Oh, God.
Yeah, the Pope.
Yeah.
With the hat and everything.
This over having like a Miller Lite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He wears the freaking hat and anything, and he's living up there in the Vatican, and we get a text. We post on Facebook sometimes.
It was great. He texted us after they had the vote in the Vatican.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming to Thanksgiving though. Probably not.
I think he's got some stuff he's got to do. But we're gonna go try to visit him soon.
Yeah, we're gonna see if he can get us some Cubs tickets actually because of his connections. I don't know. Maybe he's preying on it.
Yeah. Or, you know, maybe he knows George Clooney. I've always wanted to meet him.
There's no way that we can get the Pope to introduce us to George Clooney. Like the Pope, if anybody can get us...
The Pope. I just keep thinking, the Pope.
Dubbers. They're going to put a Portillo's in the Vatican, pretty sure. Why did we go? We're going like...
I know. Bobby, you know, he loves Italian beef.
He loves that Italian
beef.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, he's going to have...
I don't know if they have that up in... where he says Italy is Italian. Yeah.
It's in the Vatican.
Yeah, it's in the Vatican.
It's in the Vatican.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. And he's also...
if I talk to my Catholic family still on my mom's side...
is the group chat going crazy?
Oh, well... I've left.
Yeah. Crazy time to leave the group chat, actually.
Crazy time to leave the group chat.
You should join back in and be like, hey, guys.
Hey, guys. How's everybody feel about the Pope?
Hey.
Hey, y'all. I know we all hate each other now.
But I just wanted your take.
So curious. So, like, how's everyone feeling about the Chicago Pope?
Didn't you, like, have a thing with him for a while?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Also, in development with Trisha Paytas. Yes. Her birthday was the same day as when the Pope was picked. So,
and wasn't her pregnancy announced when Pope Francis died too?
Yeah, there's a whole. So TLDR, Trisha Paytas, who is controversial. The internet really goes back and forth with her. The internet is polling for Trisha Paytas more than any canceled celebrity I've ever seen.
It is, yes.
Like she doesn't really keep doing stuff now, but like historically, she has a mountain of interesting things that she said online, and the internet still is like, nah, man, she could come back.
I think a lot of people kind of classify her as, well, she's my problematic fave.
Sure. Which is like, oh, okay.
At what point, though, does...
All right. Sure.
Does that work still?
So she has babies that keep getting born the same years that historical figures are dying. Yeah, so what I say is that, Trisha, for God's sake, please have one more baby, because I can think of one more historical person that, you know,
big public figure.
Please, Trisha, for us, one more baby.
Maybe twins.
We're begging.
Another one.
We're begging.
Yeah, however many babies she can have at one time.
God, hope for it. Guys, is your favorite part of the segment.
And it's our favorite part of the segment.
I love it.
What's this? Wait, our favorite part of the segment?
Our favorite part of the segment. We're breaking it down into segments.
It is our favorite part of the podcast.
We always do this every time. And I'm like, okay. You want to rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first?
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay,
you
I'll go
did
first.
scissors twice in a row.
There's a guy on TikTok, and at least one of you is going to know who I'm talking about, who he makes these TikToks, and they always show up at like 3 a.m. for me, and he'll be like, hey, you know what time it is? And I'll be like, okay.
Fuck, it's 3 a.m.
And he does rock, paper, scissors, and he's like, if you beat me in rock, paper, scissors, then you get to stay up. If you lose, you have to go to bed right now. And I'll do it. I'll be like, okay.
You're like, all right, fine.
And then, if you keep scrolling, he comes back. I don't know how he does it. One time I was in bed, he came up like 4 or 5 times. Rock, paper, scissors. I lost. I kept scrolling. And then he came back and he was like, hey, so why are you still here?
What if this guy actually was not on, like he wasn't real? It was just
in my imagination. I was in a 3 a.m. like
3 a.m. You're having you're looking in a mirror.
I'm just standing in the hallway.
Come on, man. One more chance.
No, I want to keep scrolling.
Come on. I want to watch 20 more TikToks, please.
Please. Okay, so my Let Me Know segment, I think you will be interested in. And you probably have already heard about this. So did you hear that the Canes Festival has locked down another aspect of their dress code?
Yeah, the naked dress.
Yeah. No nudity.
I'm sorry, what did you call it? What festival?
Why don't we say it at the same time?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Cons.
You called it Canes, and I thought you were about to tell a story about Raising Cane's chicken.
I love Raising Cane's. It's probably because I had Raising Cane's the other night. Their sauce.
You can say can. It's like con or can. Cannes Film Festival. It's like con.
Cane's.
Canes. You know what, actually?
Cane's, France.
You know what? Let's call it Canes.
Let's call it Cane's.
All right. Cane's Film Festival.
Cane's Film Festival. So they have decided no nudity.
Yes.
And no voluminous dresses, including trains.
Right.
Because they are, I think if we go one more year with a train and somebody almost got in like a fight last year. Who was that?
Well, okay, so there were a couple instances
they keep
where
rushing people.
Right. Where it's not the Met Gala.
No.
It's not the Met Gala, but there have been a couple celebrities that the security team for Cane's have been fucking intense.
Yeah, they are intense. That one lady.
Yes.
She grabs you by the hair.
Yeah, and it was a really bad look. And so now they've put out this new rule.
Which
I feel like it's targeted at Bella Hadid though too, because Bella really pulls off a naked
boobs
dress.
out.
She
boobs out.
I mean, that's the people's princess.
That is the people's princess. Yeah, so they have locked that down in hopes to kind of get everybody up and seated more fluidly, which is interesting. I don't know if it's like a culture thing because this is in France and it's like, oh, it's a film festival. It's about the film. But I pay attention to stuff like that a lot of times because if I get to see...
Because you're looking at the carpet.
Yeah, I get to see the carpet.
Yeah, you want to see who's wearing what.
So does locking down the dress code get eyes away from the event? Maybe.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does it solve the problem where they're like, okay, no train, we don't want anything extra, you can't have a dress that's naked. What if you just show up nude?
Yeah, that's true. They didn't say actual nudity.
Right.
Maybe.
Is that a workaround?
What if you are nude with everything, the parts covered? What's nudity? What defines nudity? What is the definition? What is the definition of nudity? The state of being naked.
I'm a never nude. I'm a never nude.
Skin is considered nude. In most legal contexts, nudity is defined as the exposure of genitals, pubic area, buttocks, or any portion of the female breasts below the top of the areola with less than a fully opaque covering. So
how come men can show their nipples?
Yeah, that's.
But when it's women, it's.
I think men should have to get rid of their nipples.
I think men should. I think they should be like Kyle XY, but for their nipples,
or give them more nipples, one or the other.
Okay, what would look weirder? No nipples,
or more,
or like 8 nipples.
I think 8 nipples.
I think 8 nipples too.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where to look. I'd be like,
I wouldn't.
which one?
Which one?
Like you're like, my eyes are up here, and you have to go do.
Like, do you milk them? I don't know.
I don't. What more? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I wrote down a couple of previous situations where the Cannes Film Festival. So in 2015, multiple women were denied entry to the premiere of Carol, starring Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, oh no, I know. Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara.
Yeah, because their shoes weren't tall enough.
Huh?
So as a woman, you have to wear heels.
This is so
You have to wear
sexist.
heels. Asif Kapadia?
Yeah.
Okay. The director of, did you see the Amy Winehouse documentary?
Wait, not the movie, right? The documentary.
Yeah, the documentary. Yes. So his wife was barred from entry 1 year because of a shoe situation,
crazy.
I think.
That is fucking insane.
They ended up having to be like, you have to let her in.
Yeah. Her husband's documentary is...
It's like you gotta... It's like she's FaceTiming from outside.
Yeah.
Like, honey. 2019, a former Variety editor-in-chief, Claudia Eller, was stopped for not wearing heels, and she threatened to write an article about them.
Good for her.
They didn't let her in. And then last year, Zach Weiss, his suit was too colorful. So they were...
The motherfucking French, let me tell you, okay?
Yeah.
I have...
Don't say the F word.
Don't say it. They'll
it's
come
French.
for you.
Don't.
Yeah.
So that is my segment.
Okay.
So we will not be seeing any nudity on the red carpet or any trains, which I was kind of living for the drama last year. All of the clips of people getting literally so pissed off because that one lady was trying to manhandle them in through the door.
Yeah, that is someone who was taking their job real seriously.
So seriously.
Yeah. Well, mine is also in the realm of arts. Oh, okay. And there is, I guess I would say, death, but not death in that a person has died, but that we may potentially be looking at the arts dying.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sad.
I just need you to understand the seriousness. But anyway, I need to raise an awareness. I need you to be aware that Donald Trump, he's been slashing a lot of shit left and right. You know, he's making America great again by killing federal programs. And one thing that he has slashed already millions of dollars in is in the National Endowment for the Arts grants. So we're talking theater, okay? There are a lot of theater productions across the country, often, nonprofits that center in Black, Brown, and LGBTQ plus communities that are reliant upon these grants in order to put on productions. For instance, at the Upijata Scissortail Swallow Arts Company. This is an artistic program located on Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. It is usually a bustling time. They have an arts community center. It is created to help combat high youth suicide rates on the reservation. They offer twice-a-week classes to enrolled students. Having an outlet in the world of arts is a very good thing for, young people, all people. And their mission is to emotionally and economically support this very vulnerable community that's on the poorest reservation in the United States. But this year, they will have to significantly reduce their programming. Classes will no longer be twice a week. They will be monthly. They will no longer be able to have 20 students for their workshops, and instead will only be able to have maximum 6. And that is because they lost a $10,000 grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. It was rescinded last week. So remember, these are grants that have already been issued. And a lot of theaters across the country and other arts, art community centers, they are counting on this money. This is money that they rely on every year that has already been reissued, right? Like it's not something where they're like trying to apply for a grant and being denied. And a lot of them are about to go, into production for something. They're in the middle of producing a show and are finding out that their money is just gone because Donald Trump is a fucking demon. And he wants to control the arts. Okay. This isn't even a Donald Trump hates the arts. Donald Trump hates the arts when he cannot control them.
He's going to make cats too.
No, he does. I wish we lived in a world where he had gone down the path of being a Broadway producer, which is what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a Broadway producer. He wanted to be Mr. Big Time Showbiz. Why didn't he just stick with that?
That could have been.
And now here he is. And anyway, so it just this is like I'm letting you know about this, but also I'm so mad. I'm so devastated for these for all of these theaters, for these art centers across the country in these communities that are really reliant on these programs, and how art is a tool of political resistance, and it is why it is viewed as a dangerous thing by administrations like Trump's, where they do not want to be they don't want to be challenged by the work of artists across this country. They want to be able to control and deny the right for artists to create art that is politically subversive, that is a lifeline for these communities that are often in Black and brown and have Black, brown, and LGBTQ heavy populations. And it's just bad. I don't know what else to say. It just fucking sucks.
It sucks. Man.
And then meanwhile, it's like Trump is promoting AI and all that shit. Like,
no, the picture of him on May the 4th was real. That was a real photo.
Oh, the picture of him as the Pope was real.
Yeah, that was real too.
It's just, it's outrageous. There are a lot of these institutions that have launched, these nonprofits that have launched emergency funding campaigns. They're trying to appeal to other avenues of raising funds, like private philanthropists. So if you're a rich person, okay, here's something that you can do. All right. Go fund all of these community centers. Go make sure that these theaters, many of which can only produce work from the money that they receive from these grants, go fund them all. Let artists in every corner of this country, in every community, let them create art, especially at this time. So please, billionaires, Mark Zuckerberg, I know you're busy building your fucking compound. All right. I know you're watching too. He's a knower. You can do this.
You can. Okay? It's crazy.
We'll still hate you. We'll still think you're a slime fuck, but we'll be like,
nice.
Thank you. That's
good.
You.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Wow. Save the arts.
Save the arts, man. Especially like a lot of these organizations that are there to be an outlet for disenfranchised groups. And anywho, if I become a billionaire off of exploiting the working class, trust that I will
trillionaire, because she is a billionaire.
Trust that I will fund the arts, and I'm not just talking Broadway. Okay, I'm talking all the arts.
If I ever stop spending my millions of dollars on cocaine and women, then I too will take my money and put it towards the arts.
It's a tough
battle, but I'm trying.
Maybe there will be a play about cocaine and women that you can fund.
There's got to be one.
Cats. Kind of just sounds like Chicago.
Yeah.
Little bit.
The Pope.
He had it coming. He had himself to blame. I didn't do it, but if I done it. That's the end of the episode, y'all.
Thanks for watching. We're going to film a Patreon where we talk about drama. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.
Big time. And then I will be next week recovering from EDC. So
she'll be dead.
I'll be dead. That's what that means.
She'll be dying. So
no, I will have achieved PLUR. So I just want to leave with you all the message of PLUR. Do you know PLUR?
Nope.
Okay. Do this. Peace, love, go between my fingers. Unity, respect. I can't remember what respect is.
Church, steeple. Go through the doors.
See all the people. Wait, here is the church. Here is the steeple.
Go.
Open the doors. See all the people. Close the doors. Hear them pray. Open the doors, and they all run away.
Wait, open the doors. Closing the doors are going to get flies.
Why are they all running away? I don't know.
Why are they running?
I don't know. Maybe because Trisha Paytas is actually...
She's having another baby in the church.
Becomes the
Everybody...
Pope.
Okay, anyways.
All right, that's it. That's
thank
all
you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Move. Body move.